Comedian Dave Smith and former Obama speechwriter Jon Favreau are slamming pro-Israel account Stop Antisemitism for putting YouTuber Ms. Rachel in the running for Antisemite of the Year.
Now, along with Ms. Rachel, the account's finalists for Antisemite of the Year include political commentators Tucker Carlson, Anna Kasparian, and Cenk Uygur, UFC fighter Bryce Mitchell, and actress Marcia Cross. That group will eventually be squeezed down to 3, and the public will decide on the winner. Past winners include Congressman Rashid Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, rapper Kanye West, and Candace Owens.
Ms. Rachel runs a YouTube channel that is educational in nature and appeals to children. She has been vocal about her support for Palestinian children during the Israel-Gaza war. Dave Smith wrote on X, "Imagine thinking that attacking Ms. Rachel is a winning strategy. Yeah, guys, that ought to undo the collapse of support for Israel. Attack the nice lady who makes a children's show for the crime of feeling bad when Palestinian kids are slaughtered and maimed." And Favreau jumped in, writing, "This absolute garbage sets back the fight against anti-Semitism. What an embarrassment. No idea why anyone would take this account seriously."
Stop Antisemitism defended putting Ms. Rachel on the list, writing, "Since October 7th, Ms. Rachel has pushed Hamas propaganda to millions, sharing debunked images, inflated casualty claims, and almost entirely ignoring Israeli child victims. She also hosted Motaz Azazia, a terrorist sympathizer who celebrated the 10/7 massacre and openly idolizes Yahya Sinwar. We stand with our feature of Ms. Rachel."
Aziza is a photographer who's been featured in outlets like CNN, CBS, and Time, but has been accused by pro-Israel watchdogs, the watchdog Honest Reporting, of celebrating the start of the Israel-Hamas war on October 7th. Okay, then put that person on the list. This is just becoming guilt by association. Ms. Rachel evinces sympathy for the Palestinian children. She has not expressed any anti-Jewish ideas, nor, for the matter, it's not just her on that list, nor has Anna Kasparian or Cenk Uygur or Tucker Carlson. You can disagree with Tucker Carlson's views on Israel or his decision to host on his platform people who are anti-Semitic, but even in his interview with Nick Fuentes, which I criticized and so many did, he did disagree with Nick Fuentes on the complicity of the Jewish people. Nick Fuentes is an anti-Semite. Candace Owens is an anti-Semite. Kanye West is an anti-Semite. I have no disagreement with this group on the perniciousness of anti-Semitism, but they make it very easy. They are clearly conflating strong and possibly incorrect criticism of Israel with hatred of the Jewish people, which is anti-Semitism. These people are not anti-Semitic. They might have anti-Israel views. That is not the same thing as being anti-Semitic. It's not. It's not. And you lose credibility when you claim it is.
Yeah, and I think as somebody with a 4-year-old, Miss Rachel in the early years was like the preschool teacher for all students. She's actually won awards and kind of blown out any ratings for children's programming out the water for Netflix. She started her own YouTube platform, and she literally brings positivity. And every time she talks about it, she said, "This is not a controversial issue for me. If I see children dying at a rapid pace," and it's not. So, and every time, I hate the conversation that if you acknowledge the plight of one thing, that means you completely ignore the plight of another thing. That's actually just incorrect. She's acknowledging that in this conversation about Israel having the right to defend itself, which most people have acknowledged, that many people that were innocent, including children, which she caters to on a daily basis at a high millions of level worldwide, are being slaughtered and ignored. And she thinks that they should not be a casualty of this war. And that is a fair thing for her to say. And so I think the constant criticism of her, because she feels like, it feels sad because I watch her often because of the age of my daughter, and I saw her go from what seems to be a jovial preschool teacher figure to somebody who's constantly defending herself, even against places like the New York Times. And so I think that this is just like a new role that she didn't even want, that she took on. And I think that it's just noble of her to even just speak up and just say, hey, this is the platform that I want to discuss. That doesn't mean I'm isolating other platforms, but people have an option of what to use their voice for, and she's using it to talk about children that she thinks should not be hurt in this way.
Yeah, it does not serve the cause of anti-Semitism to adopt the position that if you're going to say anything critical about Israel, shut up or we're going to call you an anti-Semite. Is just is really bad PR for a noble cause that I support and that I am concerned is rising on both the right and left. Actual anti-Semitism. This list is not at all sufficient in my view.
Now, things aren't looking great for President Trump as a new poll reveals historically bad approval ratings. I'll talk about that in my lens with Robbie next.